Hello everyone, how are you? I'm fine. So today we'll be doing functions grade 11. Functions, my favorite topic. So I last did the parabolic graph, so now we'll be doing the hyperbolic graph, which is the hyperbola. So it is given by the general equation y it is equals to, hey guys, electricity is vying soon, but I'll have the light. Hey, a over x minus p plus q. Okay, so whereby a it is the what that determines the shape or slope of the graph. So it indicates the shape whereby my a might be positive or negative. Okay, the second thing, this x minus p is a combination of two, so whereby I can solve it like x minus p is equals to 0, and then my x is equals to p. And then this is the what, the x asymptote. The x asymptote, it is also called the what, the vertical asymptote. So check this thing, the vertical asymptote, the line is called the x asymptote. So this x asymptote, it means it will be now on the x axis, but this word vertical means up to down. So it means on your graph, this asymptote it is your line. So on your graph, your asymptote cuts your graph vertically in the x axis. So the x asymptote cuts your graph in the x axis vertically from up to down. Okay, so I want to show you something. Be careful. My graph is positive since it is x minus p, and it is what, x is equals to p. So it means I'll cut in the positive side. But check, what about x plus p? And when I solve it, it will be x plus p equals to 0, and then it will be x equals to minus p. So it means if it is this one, your vertical asymptote will be what, on the negative side of the graph, which is the what, the left hand side of the graph, which will be negative. So be careful there. Be careful. If it is x minus p, it means to go to your graph, it is the asymptote will be on the positive side of the x-axis, because when you solve it, it will be what, x minus p equals to 0, therefore x is equals to p. But if it is x plus p, when you solve it, it will be what, x is equals to minus p, meaning what, your asymptote will be now on the negative x-axis. Your vertical asymptote will cut your graph in the negative x-axis, or in the negative side. So be careful there. The last thing, it is the what, the y, which is the what, the q, this q there. So this q, it is the what, the y asymptote. So it is also called the horizontal asymptote. What does it mean there? It means same thing again. Horizontal means from left to right, and then this asymptote is a line. So it means on your graph, this thing cuts your x-axis horizontally. It cuts your thing horizontally. If manje it is y, lana it is maybe minus q, it means it will cut your x-axis horizontal, but in the negative side of the graph. So that's what you have to know. Hyperbolic function, I have my general equation y is equals to a over x minus p plus q. But this one, it is what, a positive graph, because my a is positive, and then my a is the one that determines the shape of the graph. It is positive, and then x minus p, it is the same as positive, because when you're gonna solve it, it will be what, x minus p is equals to 0, and then x is equals to p, which means I'm gonna cut my x-axis vertically where, in the positive side of the graph. And then if I have x plus p, it will tend to what, x minus p, which means I'll have to cut my graph where, in the negative side of the x-axis, and then it will be that in this side. And then my asymptote, y asymptote, the line cuts the y-axis horizontally. If it is positive q, it will be up there. If it is negative q, it will be there. Electricity is gone, guys, but we are learning. Let's continue. So let's go to the rules for sketching. So let's continue. I have the rules for sketching. So determine the shape of your graph. Be careful. So the first thing that you must do when you're sketching, you must determine the shape of your graph. So I have two types of shapes. The first one, it is when my value of a it is positive, whereby my hyperbolic graph will be in the first and third quadrant. Okay, so you already know from your trigonometric knowledge again what in the first quadrant everything is positive, then I'm done. And then the second one, it is what a less than 0 is less than 0, which means what my graph is negative. It will be in the second and fourth quadrant. So if you see your graph maybe in the question like this, know what it is positive. But maybe if you see they're saying sketch your graph, but when in the equation they're saying a y is equals to negative a over x plus p and then plus q, or x minus p, whatever, it means your graph, it will be where in the it will be negative. But when if you find yourself drawing this one, tell which maybe there's something wrong. Okay, so the dotted lines are the asymptotes. Okay, and then number 2, write down your asymptotes. Okay, after writing down your asymptote, please be careful. For example, let's just say I have y is equals to 2 over x minus 4 plus 3. So let me determine the asymptotes. So I start with the x asymptote. So you will represent the answer like this. It will be x minus 4 is equal to 0, and then x is equal to 4, and then y is equals to 3, because this 3 represents my q, which is the y asymptote. So you already got your 2 marks, because now you know what my x asymptote will be, what, 4, and then my y asymptote will be 3. You are done. So let me go to the third step. Because these ones are your lines. So the third step, draw your asymptotes. So since this one it is 4, it will be here, and then since this one it is 3, it will be somewhere there. This is a hypothetical equation. I just thought of it right now, so I'm not sure it will be legit or not, but you just have to know how to deal with it. And then number 4, use A to determine the 2 quadrants where your graph will be. So use A, which is this one. So if your graph it is negative a, you'll know how your graph must look like. It will be this one. Okay. 5, find your x-intercept. So find x-intercept. So you must know what x-intercept, you let y is equals to 0. And then number 6, you find y-intercept, whereby you let x is equals to 0. Because check, the x-intercept, it is this line. So if your point it is here, already my y it is equals to 0, but my x doesn't have a value. So x-intercept y is equals to 0, and then y-intercept x is equals to 0 here. So this line x is equals to 0, this line y is equals to 0. And then the last one, plot the points and draw the graph using freehand. Okay, so let's check an example. I hope you understood me. So rules for sketching. Number 1, these are the 2 types of graphs, the positive one and the negative one. Number 2, write down your asymptotes. This is how you must write your things. If I have x minus 4 there, it will be x minus 4 is equals to 0, then my x is equals to 4. If I have 3 there, my y value is equals to, my x asymptote is 3. And then you draw your asymptotes in the graph. And then number 4, you use your a to determine the 2 quadrants where your graph will be drawn. Number 5, you find your x-intercept, whereby you let y is equals to 0. Number 6, you find your y-intercept, whereby your x is equals to 0. And then number 7, you plot the points using freehand. Yeah, let's continue. So this is an example. Given f of x is equals to 2 over x minus 3 plus 1. So write down the equation of the asymptote. So asymptote already I know, I showed you there. So I will start with this one. So solutions. So number 1, I will say x minus 3 is equals to 0, and then my x is equals to 3. Yeah, I'm done. And then Lana, I will say what? Y is equals to 1, because already I'm given there. So I have my things there. Number 2, calculate the coordinates of the x and y intercept. So x-intercept, Please write the full weight in the exam intercept. Let y is equals to 0. So you are gonna write the equation. So y is equals to 2. Please don't forget, y is the same as f of x. Y is equals to 2 over x minus 3 plus 1. But I said let y is equals to 0. So it will be 0 is equals to 2 over x minus 3 plus 1. Take this one to the other side, it will be minus 1 is equals to 2 over x minus 3. Since there's an equal sign, you will cross multiply. So 2 is equals to negative x plus 3. Okay, and then let me take this x to the other side. Therefore, it will be x is equals to what is 3 minus 2? This 1, because this 2 goes to that side, it will be minus 2. Then it will 1. So since I have my x is equals to 1, I can write my coordinates already so that I don't forget. And then manje, I get what? My y-intercept. Y-intercept, let x is equals to 0. Okay, and then manje, I write my equation. Y is equals to 2 over x minus 3 plus 1. Y is equals to 2 over 0 minus 3 plus 1. It will be y is equals to, what is 2 over minus 3 plus 1? I'll get 1 over 3, 1 over 3. Then I write my thing 0 and what? 1 over 3. But in this sketch, I'll try to sketch here. I'll force. By fire, by force, I'll sketch here. Start with your asymptotes. So I said my x is equals to 3. It will be somewhere here. I label it x is equals to 3. I put my 3 there. And then manje, I have my y is equals to 1. So my y is equals to 1 will be where? Somewhere there. So it will be there. You label it y is equals to 1. And then I write my y there. So my points there, I have x is equals to 1. So it will be somewhere here. Positive 1, I mean. So it will be somewhere here. 1. And then my y, it is 1 over 3. So it will be somewhere here. 1 over 3. How will I draw it? For check, don't forget that. For the fact they said positive 2, my graph must be on the first and the third quadrant. So it will start here. Remember, your line must not touch your asymptote. So it will pass it 1 over 3 and go down there and pass it 1. And then the other one will be like this. Well, I'm not a good whatever. I'm not an artist. So you label your graph f of x and then you're done. You see, that's how you do it. If your a is positive, it must look like this. So that's how you do it. Write down the equations of the asymptotes of x. You simply do this. X minus this equals to 0, x is equals to 3, and then your y is equals to 1 already. And then to find the x-intercept, you let y is equals to 0. For the parabola, you'll put 0 there, and then you cross and multiply, you get your value there. Y-intercept is equals to x is equals to 0. It is simple because you'll put this in the calculator and get 1 over 3. Since my a it is positive, it must be in the first and third quadrant. I can see it passes at 1 over 3 and at 1 already. Okay, so let's do the last one. Hence, but write down the domain and the range. So number D, the domain and the range. So this one, be careful. The domain, it is the set of x values. So since I have 3 there, I will just say x greater than 3 and x less than 3. This is a parabola, guys. It will be greater. I need to have 3 there. So my graph will be what? Greater than 3 or less than 3. And then my range, it is y, set of y values. So since I have 1 there, same thing. Y is greater than 1 and y is less than 1. So the equations of line of symmetry, the last one. I have the positive gradient and the negative gradient. So, or increasing function. So it will be y is equals to x plus c. It is represented like this. So it will be the same as y is equals to, where there is x, you put your what? Your x asymptote value. So it will be x minus 3 plus 1. This is your y asymptote. So it will be y is equals to x minus 2. The last one, the negative gradient. Y is equals to negative x plus c. Okay, so it will be y is equals to negative and then x minus 3 plus 1. It will be y is equals to negative x plus 3 plus 1. And then it will be y is equals to negative x plus 4. Because they said the negative gradient. So that's how you got it. So the equations of line of symmetry, I have the positive gradient and the negative gradient. The positive gradient, it is y squares to x plus c. This where there is x, you put the denominator that is given in the graph, just like this, and then you get you do your magic, it will be x minus 2. The negative one, it is negative x, so where there is this thing, you put it inside the brackets, so you negative times a positive, it is negative x, a negative is a pos, so it will be 3 plus x, and then it will be y squares to a negative x plus 4. I hope you enjoyed, guys. So yeah, this is hyperbola. I'm already done. We'll do the exponential graph soon. So yeah, thank you very much.